Hello, and welcome once again to our Leadership Garage podcast series. My name is Masi Masila Chola, your host. I'm the founder of Value Connect and also an executive program leader with the Maxwell Leadership team. And today I am joined by one of my mentors, one of my teachers, one of my friends, and I'm so happy to introduce him to us. His name is Tim Novak. And you know what? Ever since I got introduced to Tim, he has been of such value. He has poured into me. He has helped me to navigate my journey as a leader and one who engages other teams and helping not only to grow my business, but also to grow myself. Hey, Tim, welcome to the Leadership Garage podcast. How are you?
Hey, Mercy, I am so good, and I am just absolutely thrilled to be here with you today. Thank you so much for having me a part of your podcast.
Yes, and we are happy to have you. I know it is morning in your part of the world. It is afternoon in my part of the world, and this is just one of the beauties of being part of the Maxwell Leadership Tribe because look, it's just like you're next door to meet him. How is it there for you?
How is what? I'm sorry, I missed that just a
How
little
is
bit.
it how is it for you right now where you are? I know it's morning. The day is just beginning.
It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day here. It's very cool and crisp, but a beautiful sunshiny morning. In fact, it reminds me of that sweet smile you have on your face right now. So it is a fantastic day.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that because normally when I'm speaking to friends across the pond, sometimes I need to send them some good weather from our part of the world. But I'm happy to
Yes.
hear you're having good weather. So let's get right into our conversation today, team. One of the reasons why my podcast is called the Leadership Garage is because we like to take leadership lessons from cars performance. And so I'm going to invite you, Tim. Tell us, what is your favorite car and why?
Oh my gosh, Mercy, I love this subject. And I say I love this subject because there's three things that I am truly passionate about: cars, golf, and music. Now, I say cars because I grew up in the car business. My dad actually worked for a division of General Motors here in the United States. And I don't know what growing up in your house was like, but in my house as a kid, we always had muscle cars. In fact,
My son would love
we
it.
we didn't have a lot, but what we did have is we had fast cars at home. In fact, imagine coming home from your 12th grade graduation, and I'm not just going to tell you about my car, but I'm going to show you a picture.
Okay,
Imagine,
go right ahead. We want to
im,
see
im,
it.
imagine coming home from your 12th grade graduation,
Yes.
and this was in the driveway.
Oh my goodness.
This
Right? Was it
was
yours or was it your dad's?
it was it was mine. Now I know what you're thinking about. I they didn't buy it for me. I got the car, but I also got the payment book, which meant I had to have a job to keep the car if I wanted it. But this was one of my all-time favorite cars, a 1976 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. And I
Oh my
absolutely
goodness.
loved this car. In fact, being in the car business afforded me to not only have one car, but after I drove it for a year, I was able to sell it. And then I got this one.
Whoa. And
And
it got better.
it got better, and it didn't help me with the girls, but I looked good, right?
And
And then a year later, I sold it and I got this one. And this was my all-time favorite Trans Am. In fact, there may be some people here that are old enough to know who made this car famous. This car was actually famous on TV in the US. Burt Reynolds made this car famous in the movie Smokey and the Bandit. And these cars were my favorite all-time cars. And I'll tell you why, Mercy. The Trans Am, the Firebird, is known as kind of a bird that rose from the ashes. And when I think about my journey as a leader, I really started from nothing, and I didn't even really believe I could be a leader. And today I'm still working on it and pursuing it like that Firebird that rose from the ashes and is today a symbol of strength and power in the world of performance automobiles. So I love the Pontiac Trans Am. And when I think about a car, I had multiple cars. And when you asked me about leadership and how it applies, and I don't want to jump in here too soon here, I want to give you an opportunity to ask me a question. When I started thinking about leadership, one of my mentors asked me a question about a car. And he said, hey, if we wanted to improve the performance of a car, what would we do?
Correct.
Would we repaint it? Would we swap out the seats, change the tires? And he said, you could do that, but the impact on the performance would be minimal. He said, you'd have to get under the hood and discover the opportunity for increasing the horsepower. And then he said, the secret to success as a leader is getting under the hood and into the minds of those that you're working to lead and discover the opportunities for increasing their horsepower. So when I thought about this as a leader, it's like, oh my gosh, these cars were to me kind of like my team. Yeah. And if I wasn't getting under the hood and providing regular maintenance to my team, their performance was going to slip. If there wasn't regular maintenance like oil changes, rotating the tires, really finding out what's going on with them, things were going to start breaking down.
That is so true, Tim. That is so true. And I want you to just unpack for us. I'm a leader, and I'm going to get under the hood of my team members. And I want to know a few simple steps that I can use that would be equivalent to that oil check, to that rotating of tires, so that I can make my team as effective and highly productive. Because as a leader, that is why I exist. How would I go about that, Tim?
Such a great question. Okay, now I'm going to unpack that for you, and I'm going to give that to you I'm going to give you 5 things in a minute, but I want to set you up for that. And the first thing I want everybody to understand that was really a revelation for me is that effective leadership is 99% about who you are and 1% technique. Now, what that means is that as an effective leader, it's more about who you are to other people than your expertise. Now, I need to know, right, some effective things about how to be a leader, and I'm going to share those things with you. I'm going to share some critical things with you guys in a minute, but I want you to understand that leadership is more about who you are than all the technical stuff and the knowledge that you could gain. Okay. Does that make sense?
tech staff only comprises 1%.
Yes,
And 99% of
the
my
technical stuff.
effectiveness. Yeah.
Now someone has said it. Someone has said it to me this way, and again, I'm going to show you. I'm going to put this on the screen for everybody, so that if you miss writing it down, you're going to get it on the screen. Okay. So I put this up here. Effective leadership is 99% about who you are, 1% technique. Someone has said, you want to be good at what you do, but you want to be greater at who you are as a leader. And I'm going to give you 5 things that we can do. As you said, hey, can you unpack this? How can I get under the hood and provide regular maintenance to my team members? Hey, maybe you don't have a team. Maybe you've got a family. Maybe you're watching this and going, hey, I've got a family. I don't have a team. I may not have an organization. It all starts with you. And quite frankly, it's all about you, but it's really not about you. And the first thing is, we have to be others aware. In fact, the most successful, the high performance leaders, just as a car needs its oil change, its tires rotated, we have to be, first of all, aware that we need to be focusing on other people, other team members, right? Hey, are there fluids topped off? Are the tires rotated, right? We need to check in. We need to check in on them regularly, right? So a good leader will recognize when something isn't working properly. If they hear a noise, right? Kind of like hearing a rattle in the motor.
Driving the car and it begins to make some weird noises, you know it's time to take that car into the garage. So
It's
as a
time.
leader, if you're not paying attention to your people, you will not know if they need something from you as their leader. So you want
exactly
to be aware. Okay.
So get over yourself and get the focus off of yourself and under the hood of those that you're working to serve. And as our mentor, John Maxwell, has taught us, if we really want to be a high performance leader, the people that we are leading need to understand that they believe we can help them, that we care about them, and that they can trust us.
That's true.
That right there is the first step in checking in under the hood of everyone on your team. I want them to know that I care about them, that I can help them, not because I'm telling them what to do, but when I get under the hood with them, it says to them, you care about me. That car says, you know what? You're keeping up regular maintenance on me. I'm going to last longer. In more cases.
Drive you well.
Exactly. How can I do all that stuff, right? So again, when we provide maintenance to our vehicle, they can't talk back to us. But my guess is they're similar to people. At the end of the day, they're not going to just remember what we said or what we did, but they will remember how we made them feel. Right?
Yeah. I'm going to pause you there. My car speaks to me. How does it do so? When nowadays, I'm so happy about the modern cars, because when I'm reversing, I don't want to be wondering what's in my way, and the beeping sound that it makes, I say, car, talk to me, car, talk to me. But if I'm not looking after my car and taking it for that regular checkup, those beeps will stop happening, or they will happen at the wrong time. And then
they will.
I could easily have a crash. And so I like that reminder that you have given us, that as leaders, we want, and not just going under the hood, we're not sending somebody else. We are going there ourselves, so that we stay in tune and we're speaking to our team members, they're speaking to us. And when we now are moving in terms of the work we need to do, when any one of us begins to get out of tune, then it's possible and easy and quick to detect that. So I love
Oh my God.
Good. Carry on.
That
Take us on to the
so
next
good.
step.
It's so good. And you know, when I think about my journey as a leader,
Yes.
when I was younger, the focus was all on me. When I had my first car, I wasn't paying attention to maintenance. I just wanted to drive it and drive it and drive it, right?
Yes.
And as I've learned more about how to improve my leadership skills and really speak into my team,
Yes.
we've had higher performance.
Yeah.
We've lasted longer. I've had less turnover. All of those things are a direct result of putting more attention on the people.
You've mentioned something there, team, that I would want us to pause and reflect on. And you started off, driving the cars when you were in 12th grade and having that adrenaline and excitement of being able to drive. And we also see that happening in our leadership spaces, that sometimes you get young leaders, and I understand nowadays they're very bullish and they join the organizations or teams and they're like, I want the corner office right now because I think I got all it takes for me to be there. What can you speak to these young upcoming leaders? What advice would
Yeah,
you
that's a
offer?
really great point that you make. And what comes to mind for me is we can get really excited, right? It's almost like, hey, if I'm at a stoplight and I don't know what what the stoplights are like in Nairobi, I can get impatient, I can get excited, and when the light turns green, I can floor it, right? And what happens is we get intense.
Yes.
And what we do is we overplay intensity and we underplay consistency. Now, what that says to me,
Team, I like that. We underplay intensity.
we overplay intensity. We get excited. I need to do this. I should be doing this. I should have this role. I should do that. We overplay intensity and we underplay consistency, which is I want to be consistent. I want to lead effectively. I want to be others aware. I want every conversation that I have with people, I want to make an impact, not as a way to be intense with them, but as a way to be consistent in the fact that I want them to believe that I care about them, that I can help them, and they can trust me. We let intensity, we overplay it, and we underplay consistency of doing the right things over and over and over and over again, and not expecting, I got to get there fast as a leader. I should have this position. I should have that role.
That is such gold right there, team. Thank you so much. So let's carry on with the other steps. You've taken
Okay, so the first thing is it's all about me. I have to be focused on my team, right? Some need more maintenance than the others, right?
True.
You need some that don't
that.
need a lot of
Some
maintenance.
need more maintenance than others. We know that.
Some do, right? So in being others aware, the way that I can make them believe I care about them and I can help them is I'm gonna show you another picture again because I want you to get this in the perspective of what we're talking about.
I love those pictures. They're very good.
Is
Great. Getting the
is
point.
that I need to be a rapport builder. Okay. Now, to truly understand the value of people and my team, I have a short period of time as a leader to build rapport with them. They need to believe that I care and not just checking the box and checking in with them. And, it's still all about me, but hey, I just want to make sure you're okay. The words that I use, the body language that I use, the tone of my voice, we don't think about tone, but like an engine revs, right? There's sometimes I can rev my voice and it doesn't have a positive effect on people. And there's times where I need to rev my voice because people aren't paying attention, right? So when I think about leadership, I have to be a rapport builder. And I've only got a short period of time to do that. So I need to be others aware. I need to be a rapport builder. The next thing is that I need to be leading with questions as a leader. You know, if I'm really going to perform maintenance on my vehicle, or if I hear something rattling, or, the tires are bouncing, I'm asking questions. I'm looking. I shouldn't be saying, oh, I know what's wrong. I know what's wrong. Just fix it. As a leader, ultra high performance leaders, they have more questions than they have answers. In fact, they don't have all the answers. So I want to
say the person closest to the problem has the answer of what needs to happen. So as the leader, you're not always closest to the problem.
You're not. And I think we can get caught up. And I think there was too many years where I told people what to do and what I thought needed to be done. And what I find is the more questions I ask and the more investigation I do and the more probing under the hood, I find generally the real root cause of the problems.
Tim, I can relate with when you say there are times, and because I have done it too in my own leadership, when I didn't ask questions because I always thought that as the leader, I was supposed to know it all. And I felt like if I didn't have the answers, that I was failing my team and that I was probably not deserving of being the leader. But thanks to the Maxwell leadership way of teaching, I now know different, that as a leader, I'm supposed to provide direction, but I don't have to know it all. If I work closely and by asking those questions, then it's easier to find the way ahead, because then I'm not spending too much time scratching my head. I just need to know who's closest to what. And
Yes.
if I listen to the question or the answers to the questions I've asked, then I will know how to move forward.
That's
Back
so
to you,
good.
Tim. Back
That's
to you.
so good. That's so good, Mercy. And really a great segue, right? Others aware. I need to be a rapport builder. I need to lead with questions. And as you said, then I need to listen.
Exactly. There we
I
go.
need
So
to
that is it.
I need to listen to understand and not respond, right? So again, if I'm getting under the hood, I have to listen to truly understand what's happening and not make a quick decision, because the more I listen, the less I'm thinking about, the more I truly understand what's happening. And I think as leaders, this is one of the biggest opportunities for me today, is I listen, but I get distracted easily. And I don't know about you, but I can be thinking about something when someone is speaking to me. And when I'm thinking, I'm not learning anything. In fact, I miss a lot. And then when I ask questions, it's like, I just told you that. And I'm asking a question because I wasn't listening. Now, as a leader, that doesn't say that you care about me, that you can help me, and that I can trust you. What that says is you don't care enough about me to be fully present. So
Tim,
for
that is a question that I get asked a lot. I know you are, and so am I, behavioral consultants with the Maxwell DISC method.
yes,
And whenever I am giving back the debrief sessions, the people who have a challenge, because the report will tell you if you have a challenge in terms of that being a growth area that you need to listen more and listen to understand, they always ask me, Mercy, how can I become that listener who wants to understand, and I call it not listening to hear or listening to respond. And one of the tips I give them, and I want to hear what you would tell them, Tim, is I say, for a team member to know that you're actually listening to them is to practice some coaching questions. And for example, I'd say, team, did I hear you say that you got your first car when you finished 12th grade? And because I am repeating to you what you just said, then you will know, one, that I've been listening. And then secondly, because I speak it out aloud, it resonates in my mind. It removes that listening to respond in me, and I begin to process what did I
Yes.
just say there, so that it might even make me give a different answer to what I thought I was ready to respond with.
Absolutely.
How do you do it?
Well, I'm still working on this today. And one of my mentors shared this with me, and I have to have it in front of me all the time, is these words before I go into any engagement with anyone, is be interested, not interesting. Now, what happens is we all want to be interesting to other people, right? I don't know about you, but when I'm meeting someone or with my team, I want to be interesting to them. But if I'm being interesting, then I'm not putting the focus on them. And what's really interesting is if I put the focus on you long enough, eventually I'm going to become interesting to you.
That is so powerful, Tim. That is such a powerful lesson that I'm also going to take away for myself. That it's more important to be interested in you, Tim, because you're right now my guest here, and not about me being interesting. So I love
Yes.
that. Thank you for that
Yes.
powerful nugget. Right
So
there.
for me, it's just those short words that kind of level sets me before I go into any one-on-one, any meeting. It's like, hold it. It's not about me. Got to be focused on them, right? Got to build rapport, got to ask questions, have to listen. But then it's all about being interested, not being interesting.
I'm loving this, Tim. So you have told us about the need, first and foremost, to go out there and becoming effective leaders. What we need to do is being great in who we are. It's about who we are and not necessarily what we do. It is important, but that's not the key. And then secondly, we want to be rapport builders. We want to build a rapport with our teams.
Yes.
Sadly, you have told us that we need to ask questions. And asking questions is important because it leads us to being able to listen, to understand. Those are 4 pointers, team, right there. I can't wait to hear what number 5 is all about.
Number 5. Now, it's one thing to do maintenance on your vehicle, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I just spent all this money, right? Fixing my car, right? I just spent all this time on this individual or on my team. And there's one thing I think that we can miss as leaders that's very, very critical. And I'm going to share that whole point with you right here. It's we don't follow up and follow through, because what happens is when we follow up with what we hear them say, their needs, what they need from us, it determines our value with them, right? And if we don't follow up and follow through, our reputation with them falls. And they communicate with other people. Now, if people I know that the car I'm driving, I'm not taking care of, they're going to think that's kind of the way I take care of everything in my life, right? I mean, if I'm not providing maintenance to my vehicle and they ride in my car and it's a mess and it's making noise, they're going to think everything else in your life is messed up.
They will not even accept. I will not accept a ride from you, Tim. If you give me a ride,
I will not accept that ride from you. No.
I'll take an Uber.
So when I think about leadership and automobiles and high performance leaders, right? Now, Mercy, you may have seen something similar to this before. It's like, okay.
I just love this again because, yes, I am taking it with me.
So those of you that are listening into this, okay, where's your big opportunity here? When you think about your impact as a leader, becoming a high performance leader, getting under the hood of those that you live, work, and do life with, where's your opportunity? Is it being more others aware and getting the focus off yourself? Is it, hey, I need to really work on when I'm with people that I'm building rapport? And I do that by leading with questions and not just being the one talking all the time, but being interested and not interesting. Or is it, hey, I need to listen. I need to listen more because I'm not showing my team that I care about them because it's all about me. Or is it, hey, you know what? I really need to start following up better because I tell my team I'm going to do things and I don't. And maybe there's some things I can do to follow up with people to show them that I care about them. That shows them that I am that high performance leader that they want to become like. And you know, Mercy, in everything that we're doing as leaders, it's really equipping other people to do what we do, to model for them what they can do, right?
That is so true. We want to model for them so that we can also create moments for ourselves to be more strategic in the thinking and what we want to focus in solving problems, because that is what leaders exist to do. But Tim, tell me, those 5 points, if I get to number 5, am I good? Is that it? Or does the cycle begin all over again?
It kind of goes back to what I talked about earlier is we don't let intensity get in the way of consistency. So in every engagement, I have one-on-one with a group in a meeting, big group, small group. I want to be living out those things as a leader. I want to be others aware. I want to be focused on them. It's not about me. I want to be a rapport builder. I want to pull people to me, not push them away. I want to ask questions. Hey, how are you? Hey, what are you working on right now? And how can I help? And truly listening to identify opportunities that I can increase their performance. And then if they need my help on something or they need my research on something, I follow up and follow through to show them that I care about them. That is daily living out as a leader. The cycle, it's constant. So
it's constant. That is what I was waiting to hear. It is constant.
Yeah.
And whether you're living that at home, as you said, some of us may not have teams that we are leading, but we belong to communities. Whether you're involved in your church or mosque community, because not everyone goes to church. Some of us, that religious institution that you go to, and you play a role there. In your neighborhood community, you do have neighbors around you and you can play a role right there. So regardless of school communities, you know, we are parents and we get involved in the school community. So these 5 points can and do apply. And thank you so much, Tim, for just shedding so much light onto that. Those are golden nuggets, and I'm sure our listeners and viewers are gonna love and keep going back to them, because I will. I know I have learned a lot from it, and I will. And so, Tim, as we come towards wrapping up our session today, do you have something you want to share with us as a wrap up or your parting shot to listeners and viewers of Leadership Podcast?
Yeah, it's been an honor to be here with you. As I mentioned earlier, Mercy, thank you for having me. And it kind of goes back to what I said earlier about the Firebird. To me, was a signal of power and performance, but it kind of rose from the ashes. And as a leader, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence and self-esteem. And maybe there's some people out there that are like, oh my gosh, I'm not as confident. I don't have a lot of self-esteem. You all matter and you all have value. And you can impact the lives of somebody if you are consciously aware of putting the focus on them. You don't have to be a great leader. If you treat everyone like they're the most important person in the world, they will believe they are the most important person in the world to you. So for you, no matter where you're at, I just say you are a leader and you can increase not only your performance, but the performance of the people in the world around you, if you will just rise and take action.
Yeah, we can rise. We can all rise. I love that. I love that. And just to conclude, Tim, do you still drive the Firebrand or have you since upgraded? I'm curious to know what are you currently driving?
I don't have a Firebird today. Now, when my son was growing up, my oldest son, we rebuilt one together and we had one. I do not have one today, but I will have one in the future. And what I do have is I have the t-shirt.
Woohoo!
So I wear that as a part of my constant awareness, right? That is true to who I am. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, Team Novak, for pouring into us such golden nuggets. You know, it's like the golden bar that you have right there on your shirt. You have poured that gold. You have passed it on to us. And I am truly grateful and honored to have hosted you on my podcast this day. So, our listeners and viewers, thank you so much for having joined us today. Be sure to listen in, share with somebody else, tag somebody else in, and let them hear these powerful nuggets that Tim has shared with us today. And other than that, I will be looking forward to seeing you during our next Leadership Garage podcast series. And I can guarantee you, watch this space. We will be bringing you another exciting speaker, just as Tim has been, and we continue to raise the bar just for you. And to part, I say goodbye, Tim. Can we say goodbye to our listeners?
goodbye. See you later.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. Stop recording. Okay.